Welcome back to Ebony, the audio book. Yo, but before we get this started, I need you to like, subscribe, and share if you're feeling it. Chapter 16. Ebony was at the condo trying to find some normalcy. She and Jackie were at the table playing Uno, Mecca giggling at her chaotic stack of cards. The game was noisy, warm, a rare sense of calm in the storm of her life. Ebony watched her mother for a moment, admiration softening her features. You always been good at this, Ma, Ebony said. Jackie chuckled, slapping the card down on the table. Years of practice, girl, and don't think you could ever beat me. Ebony smiled, but the feeling didn't reach her eyes. Her mind wandered. She thought about what she'd lost, the miscarriage, the life she'd imagined with Black. She had it buried deep, telling herself she'd never have another man's child. Black was the only man she had ever loved, the only one she had ever been with. He was her first, her last, the only one who had ever mattered. Her phone buzzed loudly on the table. She glanced at it. It was a text from Shatasia. Girl, I don't care what you're doing. Come to my house right now. I gotta tell you something face to face. Ebony set her cards down. What the hell now, she muttered. But she didn't hesitate. She showered quickly, pulled on jeans and a hoodie, and slapped Black's 380 with the pink pearl handle into her Fendi purse. Her jeans were too tight for it. She grabbed one of Mecca's Nike masks and left the condo, leaving the door unlocked. When Ebony arrived at Shatasia's house, the moment she stepped inside, Pretty intercepted her. What's up, boo? Pretty said, waving her in. Come in. Shatasia's face was tense. Do you remember that new client I told you about? The one always bragging about her man? Ebony nodded slowly, brow furrowed. Yeah, the one with all the money always talking about him spoiling her? Shatasia leaned in, lowering her voice. She came back. Yo, my last appointment of the day. Nobody else was in the shop. And Ebony, she had the biggest black eye ever. Huge. You couldn't miss it. Even under her Gucci sunglasses. Ebony's stomach tightened. Oh, God. And she wouldn't stop talking, Shatasia continued. She said she was tired of her man beating her, even though he takes care of her. I asked her what happened to him. She said some guys beat him really, really bad, and now he takes it out on her. That's when my antennas went up. Ebony's hand instinctively tightened on the strap of her purse. That's not all, Shatasia said. She pulled out a bag of coke and asked if she could take a bump. Since nobody was in the shop, I let her. That's when her boyfriend's name slipped. Born. Ebony's face dropped. Pretty smirked knowingly. Exactly what I said, she murmured. Ebony stayed silent, processing, her jaw tight. A few days later, Jasmine fumbled with keys at an apartment in Harlem. The door clicked open, and a male voice called out, rough and strained. Who's that? It's me, Jasmine said, stepping inside and heading to the bedroom. Bourne was there, lying in the bed, his face still swollen. Where the fuck you been, bitch? He demanded. I just got my hair done. And the other day, you didn't even fucking notice. Jasmine shot back. Fuck you. Bourne protested, but before he could continue, Bags and Ebony stepped into the room. Bags' presence was immediate, aggressive, and cold. You in some shit now, nigga, Ebony said, her tone cutting. Bourne's eyes widened. Wait, look, Bags didn't give him a chance. His fist connected with Bourne's already swollen face. How come everybody got killed and you just got a beating? Bags demanded. Bourne's voice shook as he spoke. Bigger, that's my stepfather. You a bitch for setting up your stepdad to get robbed, Bags snapped. I don't mess with him. He's abusive, Bourne said, trying to defend himself. He chose Cal over me. Fuck both them niggas. Ebony interjected, ice in her voice. This ain't therapy, nigga. Bourne's mouth opened again, but two silent shots rang out. Ebony's Glock found his mark, and Bourne crumpled back into the bed, eyes wide and shocked. Bags and Emily didn't linger. They exited the apartment, leaving Bourne lying in the bed, a warning to anyone who thought they could play games with their lives and Black's legacy. Chapter 17. The ride back from Harlem was silent, but not awkward. The air between Bags and Ebony felt heavy, thick with unspoken thoughts. Street lights streaked across the windshield in long amber lines as they rolled down the expressway. Ebony sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window. Her mind replayed everything: the look on Bourne's face, the recoil of the gun, the stillness afterward. She realized somewhere deep down that the old Ebony was gone. Bags glanced over. You don't got to do this no more, Eb. I'll handle the rest. She didn't turn her head. I ain't that girl anymore, Bags. I got too much anger in me, too much hate. He kept his eyes on the road. You just hurting, that all. Anybody would be after what you lost. Ebony looked down at her hands. They took my man and my baby. What's left for me to care about? There wasn't much that she could say to that. There wasn't much that he could say to that. The hum of the tires filled the car again until she spoke. Drop me off in the projects. Bags looked over, confused. You sure? You could crash at the spot. Get some rest. Nah, I can't face mine Mecca tonight. Not after what I just did. He nodded. No more words exchanged. The projects were quiet when she got out. A few kids lingered near the courtyard, their laughter fading as she passed. Ebony didn't look back as Bag's car disappeared into the night. Inside, she stripped out of her clothes, the same ones she wore when she pulled the trigger, and stuffed them into a black garbage bag. The silenced Glock went into the closet beside her 380. Then she ran a hot bath, poured in a few capfuls of bleach, and eased herself into the water. The smell burnt her nose, but she didn't care. She thought about Black, his voice, his quiet confidence. When it's time for goodbye, don't forget the hello. She repeated it in her head until her tears stopped. She stayed in the tub until the water went cold, then wrapped herself in a towel and crawled into bed. Around 3 a.m., she finally drifted off. And for the first time in weeks, she slept deep and dreamless. At the precinct, Detective Tate and Detective Monroe were sitting in their cubicle, sipping bad coffee and sorting through reports. Tate's phone rang. Tate, a gruff voice on the other end. Familiar. It's Morales up in Harlem. I got one for you. Guy named Bourne. Shot twice in the chest. Thing is, one of our CIs and biggest crew says the murder might tie to your two bodies, Black and Diamond. Tate sat forward, eyes narrowing. You sure? Not 100%, but the word's spreading fast. Somebody's connecting the dots. Tate thanked him and hung up. He turned to Monroe. Harlem Homicide just called. Said one of the biggest guys turned up dead. CI said it might link to our Brooklyn hits. Monroe frowned, rubbing his temples. So now we got 3 connected murders and no suspects. Yep. And the one threat that might have talked just got zipped up. When Ebony woke up around noon, sunlight filtered through the blinds, painting her face in gold. She dreamt of Black again. Same words, same warmth. When it's goodbyes, don't forget the hello. It made her smile for a moment. She washed her face, stared into the mirror and whispered, stay strong like Black. Then she got dressed, jeans, a hoodie, black puffer vest, Jordans, and slung her Fendi purse over her shoulder, the silenced Glock tucked neatly inside. She picked up the black garbage bag, took a deep breath, and left the apartment. Outside, Wiley was under the hood of an old Caprice, whistling to an old R&B tune. He looked up when he saw her. His army fatigue jacket was smeared with oil, his beard shot with gray. Well, if it ain't my favorite girl, he said with a grin. Ain't seen you in a minute. Ebony hugged him tight. I miss him, Wiley. Yeah, we all do, baby. We all do. She looked him in the eyes, serious now. I need you to do something for me. Say less. You know I got you. Check on Ma and Mecca for me. Make sure they good. Oh, and get rid of this. She handed him the black garbage bag. Wiley looked at it for a long second, not shocked, not judging, just understanding. Put it in the back seat. I'll take care of it later. Thank you, she said softly. You don't got to thank me, girl. Black was like my nephew. You family. Ebony smiled faintly and walked off, head held high, but heart heavy. At the condo, Jackie and Mecca were curled up on the couch, watching TV. Hey, baby, Jackie greeted. Hey, Ma, I'm just running out for a bit. She went to the bedroom, grabbed 10,000 from the stash, and handed her debit card to Jackie on the way out. In case y'all want some Chinese or Uber Eats or something. Jackie smiled, touched. You always thinking about us. Emily just nodded and left, closing the door behind her. When she got to Shatasia's salon, the front gate was halfway down. Come around back, Shatasia called from inside. Ebony circled through the alley. Pretty opened the back door, smiling wide. Girl, you made it. They hugged like sisters. Inside, Jasmine sat in the chair, her black eyes still faint but healing. How you feeling? Ebony asked gently. Better, Jasmine said, voice trembling a little. Thank you for everything. I didn't know what kind of man he was. I was blind, just chasing money. Ebony nodded, squeezing her hand. You don't owe nobody an explanation. You just got to move on. Pretty grinned, leaning on the counter. You damn right. Start fresh, girl. Ebony reached into her hoodie pocket, pulled out the 10,000 and handed it to Jasmine. Here, it's enough for a bus ticket somewhere new, somewhere safe. Don't look back. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. I can't take this. You can, and you will, Ebony said, firm but kind. Jasmine started crying, hugging Ebony tight. Pretty wiped at her own eyes, laughing through it. You a real ass bitch, you know that? Ebony smiled softly, her voice barely above a whisper, just doing what Black would have done. Later that evening, Wiley parked outside a small funeral home on Troy Avenue. The black garbage bag in hand. Inside, waiting near the back door, was Bear, a big, heavy-set Vietnam vet with a booming laugh and kind eyes. You need that cremated? Bear asked, already knowing. Wiley nodded. Yeah, like before. Bear smiled and reached for a bottle. Got some corn liquor straight from Alabama. You ain't leaving till we toast. Wiley chuckled. You know I can't say no to that. Together, they disappeared into the basement crematory, two old soldiers handling the unspoken business of the streets, quietly, completely, and without a trace. Chapter 18. Traffic rolled heavy down Fulton Street. Horns blaring, buses crawling. Bags sat behind the wheel of a black Escalade. Window cracked just enough to let the smoke drift out. Chop rolled shotgun, knee bouncing, jaw tight. Yo, you foul for that, cuz, Chop said, shaking his head. You know damn well you should have called me for that hit. Bags kept his eyes on the road. It wasn't that type of move, Chop. Quick in and out, and he need back up. Chop twisted his face annoyed. It don't matter, cuz. You know I don't let nobody do nothing to you. You know what I mean? And I'm not there to ride. That's disrespectful. Bags glanced over with half a grin. You sound emotional. Damn right, Chop shot back. You lucky I love you, dumbass. They both cracked up laughing. The sound faded quick, though. Both knew deep down there wasn't much to laugh about lately. Coming the opposite direction down Fulton, a gray unmarked Dodge Charger rolled slow through traffic. Inside sat detectives Tate and Monroe. Tate leaned forward squinting. Yo, that's Bags right there. Monroe nodded. Yeah, pull him. The sirens flashed blue and red across the windshield. Inside the Escalade, Chop cursed. Man, what the fuck they want now? He turned to Bags. Hand out. Give me the hammer. Bags shook his head. Nah, you panic too easy. You bugging. You gonna make both of us hot. Bags exhaled through his nose, calm. Relax, cousin. They ain't got shit. The detectives approached. Monroe on Bags' side, Tate on Chop's. Flashlight swept over the tinted glass. Evening, gentlemen, Tate said. Mind stepping out for a sec? Bags leaned out just a little. What's the issue, officers? Tate tilted his head. Yeah, you know a guy named Bourne? Bags Joy flexed. If he has something to do with Diamond or Black getting hit, man, fuck him. Cole raised the eyebrow. So you don't know him? Didn't say that I did. Fuck him. The detectives exchanged a quick glance. You're not a suspect, Bags, Monroe said, but we think you might need protection. Bags frowned. Protection from who? The streets, Tate said. They're watching you, and they don't miss. Bags smirked faintly. Appreciate the concern, but I'm straight. Tate sighed. You know, I could pull you in right now. I know you carrying, but I ain't got no probable cause, so I won't waste my time or yours. He paused, looked Bags dead in the eye. Truth is, locking you up might be the only way to keep you alive for a few nights. Bags grinned. I'll take my chances. Tate stepped back. Your call. Try not to die. The detectives walked off. Bags waited till they were gone before easing off the curb. Chop blew out a deep breath. Man, I thought that was it. Nah, Bags said. That was just a warning shot. Across town, Bigger was in the back of his Maybach, cigar smoke curling up in the dim light. Cal sat beside him, scrolling his phone. So Bourne's gone, Bigger said flatly. Yeah, 2 to the chest, Cal replied. Clean work. Bigger nodded slowly, puffing his cigar. And the girl? Jasmine? Vanished. Ain't nobody seen her. Bigger leaned back thinking, somebody still gotta pay. Not 'cause Bourne was my stepson, but because it gotta be known you don't touch my blood or anything affiliated to me without getting a message after. Cal grinned slightly. Say less, big bro. I'll send that message. Bigger flicked the ash into the tray. Make it loud. Later that night, the condo was full again. Jackie had cooked baked mac, fried chicken, greens, cornbread. The kind of food that made it feel like family again. Laughter bounced off the walls, even though everybody felt the hole where Black should have been. Ebony and Bags talked quietly in her room. You thinking what I'm thinking, she asked. Yeah, he said. When? Tomorrow. I'ma rest up. Then we plan. She nodded. All right. He kissed on her forehead and left. A little while later, Ebony, Pretty, and Shatasia all got their coats. They hugged Jackie and Mecca goodbye and headed downstairs, each going separate ways. Ebony's mind was heavy as she crossed through the courtyard. She kept her hood low, one hand on her purse. The projects were too quiet. That's when she heard a voice. Yo, shorty. She turned. Dog stepped out from the shadow, gun out. Same hoodie, same smirk. You thought I forgot? You thought I forgot you and that nigga Bags played me like a clown? Ebony froze. Dog, chill. Shut up. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Get on your knees and drop that purse before I smoke you. Her breath hitched. She moved slow, eyes flicking to the barrel pointed at her face. Then out of nowhere, Dog's head snapped forward. He dropped instantly, body hitting the pavement hard. Blood spread across the concrete, steam rising in the cold air. Ebony stumbled back, heart pounding. She hadn't pulled her gun. She looked up instinctively, and there he was. Little JT, crouched on the roof of the 3-story building across the courtyard. His old rusty rifle rested on the ledge. They locked eyes for a second. JT gave her a little nod, almost a smile, before disappearing into the night, slipping out of the sight like a ghost. Ebony stood frozen for a long second, chest tight, then bolted for her building. Upstairs, she poured herself a drink, then another. Her hands trembled so bad she nearly dropped the glass. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the floor, tears starting to fall. Everything hit her. Black's death, Bourne's murder, Dog's body still cooling outside. What's happening to me? She whispered. Her voice cracked. She drank until the shaking stopped, until her body felt numb. Then she curled up under the covers and cried herself to sleep. The sound of a lone siren fading somewhere in the distance. Chapter 19. The sunlight broke through the blinds of the bedroom, cutting through the haze of the night before. Ebony stirred, sat up slow, and rubbed her face. Her body was tired, but her mind was clear. She showered, threw on some fitted jeans, a cream-colored hoodie, and her tan bubble coat. After slipping her Glock into her Fendi purse, she grabbed her keys and headed out. The Benz purred to life as she pulled from the curb, the city already moving. Halfway to the condo, her phone lit up. Asia, little JT's older sister. "Hey, girl," Ebony said cautiously. "Hey, Ebony, don't hang up," Asia said, her voice calm but serious. "I ain't calling no bullshit. My little brother told me everything." Ebony gripped the steering wheel tighter. "He good?" "Yeah, he laying low somewhere. Said you saved his ass more than once, so I got no problem with you. I just needed to say this face to face. Well, phone to phone. Be careful out there." "What you mean?" "I don't know what's going on in these streets, but I can feel it. My brother said dog was out his mind. So whatever happened, that's karma. The cops think he got hit by one of his enemies, and trust me, he had a lot of those. Just watch your back, Ebony." Ebony took a deep breath, nodding, even though Asia couldn't see her. "Appreciate that. Asia, tell little JT I said thank you, and stay low." "I will. You take care, baby girl." The line clicked off. Ebony sat for a moment. She was at the red light staring out the windshield. Her reflection in the glass didn't even look like her anymore. A second later, her phone buzzed again. "Bags. You up?" "Been up," she replied. "Meet me at Brooklyn Bridge Park. I'm out here thinking." She turned the car toward the bridge. When she arrived, the early morning air coming off the water felt sharp, clean. Bag still by the railing, hoodie up, coffee in hand. "You look like you ain't slept in a week," she said, approaching. "Same could be said for you," he replied with a faint grin. They stood side by side, staring out at the skyline. The wind whipped off the East River, carrying silence between them for a moment. "You ready to make that next move?" he finally asked. Ebony's eyes stayed fixed on the horizon. "I've been ready. I just needed to clear my head." Bags nodded, searched into his coat, and handed her a small silver key and a folded slip of paper. "That's the key and code to the stash spot of Guy Brewer. In case I go dark, you know where everything is." She looked at the key, then at him. "You talk like you know what's next." "I don't," he said, "but I know how this game ends if we ain't careful." Ebony tucked the key and code into her purse. "We careful now?" "Nah," he said quietly. "We smart. Careful comes later." They shared a small smirk before parting ways, the kind where words weren't needed anymore. Across town, Pretty and Shatasia sat at their usual table inside Peaches. The smell of cinnamon waffles and fried catfish filled the air. Shatasia stirred her mimosa, her tone uneasy. "You heard from Ebony?" Pretty leaned back, sipping her drink slow. "Yeah, she good." "I don't even know, Pretty. Ever since Black died, she's just different, like cold almost." "Can you blame her?" Pretty said. "She lost everything. Like, the only thing she can control right now is her next move." Shatasia sighed. I just hope it don't get out of hand. I'm not built for that street mess like y'all." Pretty reached across the table, touched her hand lightly. "That's why you got us, girl. We gonna make sure it don't." They clinked glasses. The mood lightened just a bit, even though both of them knew deep down inside that control was the last thing any of them really had. Back at the condo, Wally knocked before letting himself in. Jackie greeted him with a smile and hugged him tight. The smell of fried fish and rice filled the air. "I made enough for an army," Jackie laughed. "You always do," Wally grinned, settling his coat on a chair. They sat, ate, and talked about old times, about Black, about life. Mecca sat quiet at the table, pushing food around her plate. "You all right, baby girl?" Wally asked. I just want to go back home, she muttered. Back to my friends. I'm starting to hate it here. Wiley sighed. I get it, but you can't go back there. Not right now. Why not? I didn't do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing, he said softly. It's just some people out there still looking for reasons to hurt folks connected to black. You and your mom staying here, that's safety. Maker looked away, fighting back tears. Jackie reached over and rubbed her back. He's right, baby. Just listen to Wiley, please. Wiley smiled faintly, trying to ease the tension. Tell you what, next time I come through, I'm bringing you some of them lemon pepper wings you like. That made her crack a smile. For a brief moment, things felt normal, but outside those condo walls, the city kept moving, and so did the storm coming their way. Chapter 20. Days later, Detective Tate sat in an unmarked car, engine humming, low, under the sound of moving traffic. The passenger door opened, and Monroe slid in with 2 coffees, handing one over without a word. They sat in silence for a moment before Monroe broke it. Man, we got nothing, he said, rubbing his eyes. No leads, no dots to connect, just a bunch of bodies and rumors. Tate took a short, slow sip, eyes still on the windshield. That don't mean we drop it. Monroe gave a short laugh. Come on, Tate. You know how this goes. We freeze it, let it breathe. We got other cases that actually got legs. Yeah, but this one's different, Tate muttered. Too many pieces moving around. Too many people scared to talk. Something's under it. Monroe sighed in frustration. Frustration spilling into his voice. Bro, we've been chasing ghosts for weeks. No witnesses, no cameras, no prints. You want to keep beating your head against the wall? Go ahead. But I'm saying, we let this one chill. Tate stared at him for a long moment, jaw tight. Finally, he nodded once, slow and reluctant. Fine, we'll call it cold. But this one's gonna throw it back up. I could feel it. Monroe started the car saying nothing. The silence that followed was heavier than the coffee in their hands. Ebony cruised through the city in blacks, matte black Benz, the late afternoon sun glinting off the hood. The radio was locked on Power 105. The DJ hyped up the mic. Tonight, Huff's in Midtown is the place to be. The only party of the year. It's going down. Don't miss it. Ebony smirked, eyes steady on the road. She grabbed the phone, hit Shatasia's number. Girl, you good down there? Ebony asked. I'm straight, Shatasia said, her voice low, soft. It's quiet out here. Ain't nobody looking for me. Still don't feel right, though. Every time my phone rang, I think it's some bad news. Ebony's tone softened. You just gotta ride it out. Just ride it out, Tay. Lay low. Keep your head down. This all gonna blow over. You really believe that? Ebony hesitated. I got to. There was a pause on the line, long enough for the engine hum to fill the space. Shatasia finally said, I wish I was there. It feels weird not moving with you, you know? You always the one with the plan. Ebony smiled faintly. Yeah, but sometimes plans come with prices. So you just stay out the way, all right? Don't come back till I say. I won't, but promise me you ain't gonna do nothing crazy. Ebony laughed softly, but there was no joy in it. You know me. I only do what gotta be done. I mean it, Shatasia said. I love you, E, like for real. I love you. I love you too, Tay. They sat there for a few seconds, neither wanting to hang up first. Then the line went dead. Ebony exhaled, glanced out the window, and dialed another number. It's on for tonight, she said flatly. Bag's voice came through low and ready. Say less. I'm locked in. In Harlem, Cal lounged in his brownstone, the sound of laughter echoing through the room. One of his boys poured champagne as Cal grinned, holding up his glass. Aight, listen up, he said, voice booming over the music. We made it through a wild year. Cops watching, haters talking, people switching sides. But look at us now. The room quieted a little as everyone turned towards him. Cal smirked. They said we wouldn't last. They said we fall apart. once the heat came, but we still here, still eating, still standing. It's Harlem. One of his boys shouted, "Talk that talk, Cal." He laughed, pacing slow, bottle in hand. I know what tonight is. It's my birthday, yeah. But it's more than that. It's a reset. It's a new year. It's new money, new energy. I want the whole city to feel us at Huff's tonight. He raised his glass higher. To loyalty, to survival. It's Harlem. To making it out when they swear we wouldn't. Everyone cheered. Bottles popped, music blasted, and smoke curled through the air. Cal leaned back on the couch, satisfied, already picturing the night ahead. Later that evening, Ebony pulled into the condo's underground garage. Upstairs, Jackie and Mecca were on the couch watching TV when she came in, acting like nothing was different. They laughed, ordered food, scrolled through the playlist, maybe the last normal night they'd ever have together. After a while, Ebony slipped away to the bedroom. She sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, staring at her reflection in the mirror, calm, collected, unreadable. Then she laid back, closing her eyes for a quick power nap.